So, what would have been some of your favorite moments as a drum corps member?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind when you say that is the bus rides.
Yeah.
Because you're on that bus so much. And I remember we had a camp up in Bakersfield. I believe it was a camp. Maybe it was our first performance weekend in Velvet Nights. And we were on the bus, and I had learned this exercise from a guy who marched Blue Devils a long time ago named Ray Pedroza.
Okay.
And he taught me this exercise called Racer X, is what he called it.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like a patty fla exercise, and I thought it was really cool.
That one?
Yes. It goes jut, 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 jut. And then he put a Swiss triplet in, or no, he did alternating flams, and then eventually that turned into Swiss triplets, biggity, 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 bop, and then you do it off the left hand.
Cool.
And so I was teaching this to my friends, and I started, and I'd done some other times on the bus when I was at UCLA, where I would start just making up a split to it. Like not a split, but an accent pattern that went off of that pattern.
Okay.
And so I made up like a second pattern that played off of that quite a bit. And then I made a third pattern, and we were all on the bus playing this thing. And what that developed into was, well, I took that exercise and I showed it to Blue Devils the next year when I marched Blue Devils. And they started playing it in their regular routine.
Oh, wow.
And they're the ones that added the Swiss triplets in it. It was it was alternating flams before that. Well, all those three exercises turned into what's now the RCC drum cadence.
Oh, nice.
Called Tweeter.
Yeah, I love Tweeter.
Yeah, I wrote it actually for UCLA after I marched VK, and it was based off of that exercise that I on the bus amongst my friends created this sort of accent pattern. And then I wrote it for UCLA to play, and then I brought it over to RCC, and it's been there ever since.
Oh, wow, that's
so
great.
So they play it off the field to this day.
Oh, that is so cool. Like,
yeah.
It's a funny story. Like when I was in my undergrad, we had this assignment where we had to take a piece and transcribe it.
Oh.
So of course, me being the only percussionist, I thought I'll do a drumline thing.
Cool.
And then I found a recording of Tweeter, and I transcribed Tweeter.
Wow, that's cool. It's had, variations where all the licks are from one drum line to the next, but the basic concept has been the same all the way through, which is pretty cool. Other people have tried to write cadences for RCC, and they've never stuck. This one has.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm really, really proud of, and that came from drum corps.
Oh, nice.
And the bus riding.
That's fantastic. It's awesome knowing that origin story to that.
Yeah, that's where it started.
I never knew it traced back to you.
It was known as the UCLA cadence for 1 year, and then a friend of mine, his name's Charles White, he named it Tweeter. He was in the drum line that year, and then it's been Tweeter ever since.
Oh, nice. Like 30 years been around. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I wrote it in 89, end of the summer of 89. So yeah, 31 years.
Wow, that is awesome. I hope it goes for another 31 years at least.
I hope so.
And what would have been one of your favorite experiences as a drum corps instructor?
When I instructed Blue Devils in a transitional time for them, because they had just decided they were going to go in a different direction with their drumline staff.
Okay.
And so Tom Float and Catherine Float, awesome people, great instructors. I think I owe some of what I am today to them, to that 1 year that I had with them. But the next year in 91, they decided that they needed to move in a new direction, so they were not rehired. So all the drum staff were new, and I was hired to be a visual guy, because that was kind of my focus with drill writing and everything, so I was the drumline drill guy.
Okay.
But because they were in the situation where the drumline staff had changed, and even within that year, drumline staff were let go in the middle of it, and it was constantly changing, but I was there the whole time at that year. I sort of assumed the bass drum line.
Okay.
I was never a bass drummer, but I was there, and they needed somebody in front of them, so I just started being part of them. So we kind of really bonded, the five of them and myself. Even would crash at their apartment, and after camps and things. So I think just that kind of bond with the bass drum line, which I had no experience with, but felt like I learned a lot being a part of that process, is kind of one of my favorite experiences of that year.
Oh, nice. That's good stuff. So, would that have been around the time they brought on Scott Johnson into the drumline?
No, Scott Johnson was with Santa Clara at that time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that was Paul Rennick, who ended up running that whole thing. And he was there for a few years, and now he's at Santa Clara.
Right, like they traded spots.
Yeah, and he was at Phantom for a while, I think, too. Paul Reddick's genius, him and his wife.
He's incredible. Like,
yeah.
One of my friends is taking lessons from him right now over in UNT.
Oh, cool.
And she doesn't stop talking about him.
Yeah, he's genius. And I had the pleasure of working with him when he was, at least in the drum corps part of things, kind of making his name. It's starting to, because he was just the North Texas guy before that. But he's really blossomed into one of our best.
Oh yeah, he's definitely one of the biggest names out there when in terms of drum corps.
Yeah.
So speaking of drum corps, I want to get your opinion on some of my favorite moments in drum corps history.
Okay.
First, did you hear about the snare drum down a few years ago?
No.
So in 2014, in Carolina Crown's championship show, a snare drum fell off of the snare player's harness.
Oh.
So I want to see what you think about this. Just so happens the guy whose snare fell, he was wearing a GoPro.
Oh, wow.
Oops.
Uh-oh. He still got the GoPro on. And his drum is way over there.
Yep. Like, that tenor player just cheated death at that moment. But then watch what happens right here. The drill judge came by.
Oh, nice.
Into the snare.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I mean, the judges are on our side. They don't want us to fail.
Exactly. I remember being.
Did they win that year?
They got, I think, fourth.
Okay.
They were fourth. I remember being, because this was the year I marched gold. I would have been like way up there. Like in the very back. I remember the crowd just like started roaring when that happened. It was probably that's probably my favorite moment as a drum corps member.
You know, not favorite, but most memorable moment was you talked about sitting in the audience. So in '89, it was in Kansas City, and we were like in 11th place, so we got to watch, the best six or whatever. And so we're sitting way up in the top, and that year in '89, Blue Devils had this amazing trumpet soloist. He was like 19 years old.
Cool.
And he had this one part, and I forget the name, If We Were in Love, or I think it's the name of the chart. And there's this ending cadenza where the trumpet just goes sky high. I don't even know what note it is. And he has this amazing note, and he just hits it every single show, and it's finals.
Wow.
And he goes,
Just scream it.
no, he can't hit
Oh,
it.
is that the...
Yeah, you probably heard about
I've
this.
seen this video.
I am there live, and we're like, here it comes. Oh my God! We're like, he choked over and over and over and over again. And like, oh my God, that's so sad. Well, we heard later on that the trumpet soloist was dealing with a lot emotionally because his parents were telling him if he didn't come home now, like before that, like a week earlier, all of his money for college, he's not going to college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he had all this pressure on him. He's got the entire drum corps, for his having his skill there for that moment. It's amazing, so they're all counting on him, and his parents have given up on him at home unless he comes home and lets down the entire drum corps.
Oh my God.
He decides to stay with the drum corps at the expense of losing all of his money for college. And and he's just in a total crisis, and so that's why that happened.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Never knew there was more to that story.
Yeah, really, really sad. He hit it the whole summer, but he just all hit him at that night.
I've watched that video too many times to count.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so that was very memorable.
Definitely. As a drill instructor, I want to see what you think about this. This is the Blue Devils Godfather Part Blues. So this has been 2006. This is my favorite moment in drum corps history right here.
The circles going through each other.
And with the Godfather theme, the Godfather Low theme.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movie scores. That's another reason why.
They have it going on TV right now, the marathon of all three of them over and over again.
That's great. It's such a great series. Well, the first two are great. The third we don't talk about. And man. But those pass-through rings, that's one of my favorite drill movements that I've ever seen.
Cool. Yeah, Blue Devils are amazing, and the staff there, I get to work with several of them at RCC, and they're just great people.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's a great experience for those kids. They work really hard. And here's a funny story. So, you know, Blue Devils work really hard, but they also know how to play and enjoy what they're doing. At VK, we were like hardcore, which they're not even around anymore, but VK, you know, we go to Phoenix and it's 120 degrees and 90% humidity, and we're practicing all the way the entire day. Blue Devils the next year we get there, oh, we're not practicing in that. We go to the movies. They pay for the whole quarter to go to the movies.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Yeah. We ate well there too.
Oh wow. It's so cool. Never imagined it would have been like that.
Yeah.
Like knowing Blue Devils being the top dog, they would have been rehearsing in the heat since like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. They just don't want to waste that energy on, you know, just sweating to death.
Exactly. I've seen so many videos of their horn line chilling out in the pool and just playing their exercises right there. So not only working on their chest support, but also they get to cool down while playing.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty clever with that.
And did you see SCV 2018 with their Babylon show?
Oh, awesome.
So I want to...
Yeah, they won that year.
They did.
The best thing about that show, their props.
Oh, yes. That's why...
They were genius. And one of my favorite drill designers.
Who was the
Michael Gaines.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I remember one of my friends, his name's Noah. He was marching mellow for them that year, and he said that he loved working for that corps. It was like every instructor knew every member's name.
Oh, that's
they had
cool.
Everything committed to memory, just as much as the corps members did.
That's pretty cool.
It's like if they see one person just slightly out of line, like, "Hey Noah, you're half a dot off.
Right.
Make sure to fix your dots." Like, oh, this is next level.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to see what you think about this particular section. It's probably the most infamous section of the entire show.
The battle between the two soloists. Got the mellow section going up there. Too, like tennis never known for screaming notes, but they like reinvented themselves in this elementary trumpet guy right here. He's really young too. He's like 17 or 18 years old.
Can you imagine how it'll be when he ages out? So next year, this year?
I don't think he's got a few more years yet. Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
great show.
And legend has it the sustain is still going.
Maybe it is.
And that snap, it just gets me every time.
Their horn snap up? Yeah, so together.
It's like the snap in Infinity War.
Yeah.
When I was talking to my friend Noah, who marched for them that year, and I asked him how did they come up with the snap, and he's like, "We didn't. it just sort of happened. They told us horns up, and it's during a rest, so you hear when everyone snaps.
Right.
It's like it wasn't on purpose. It just happened.
Yeah, it's cool when those things happen. Serendipity is just. It's magic.
And now it's one of the best moments in drum corps in the late 2010s.
Yeah.
Hello friends. Thanks for watching this latest addition to my interviews with Mr. Paul Locke, my very first drum teacher. I really enjoyed interviewing him and hearing all these different stories about things that have shaped the drum corps world as it is today. I have one more part to this series where I ask him about bits of his magic career, and then he also bamboozles me at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that part of it. Please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more interviews and music related content. I have some really cool music projects coming up in the next few weeks, considering that we're all in the quarantine right now. The quarantine concerns, so make sure to stay safe and practice social distancing. Or you can just close the video now. Don't like and subscribe. I can just live in solitude and practice the lick all day long while in quarantine. And don't ring that notification bell. You know what teacher says? Every time a bell rings, an artist gets the munchies. And I don't know if I have enough snacks to get through the quarantine. And I've already run out of TP. So please send TP from my bunghole. And stay safe out there, friends.